It's safe to say that without a doubt, Kira Setsuna is an absolute beast in Kengan Omega. If you think about it, this is technically only his, I guess, 4th main fight we've ever seen in Kengan, over 400 plus chapters. His first main fight in the series was round 1 of the Annihilation Tournament against Nikaido Ren, where we got to see the Koei style techniques, Blink and the Rakushashi's Palm. Then in round 2, he faced Kuroki Gensai, losing that fight while also revealing his ability to evolve the Koei style when it comes to the Rakusashi's Soul, and also his ability to use the Nico style. Then his third fight in Kengan Ashura, of course against Tokita Oma, his pretty much lover you could say, revealing the pure insanity of his fallen demon and everything he's truly capable of. Losing that fight after Oma was forced to use Demon's Bane, the ultimate move of his Nico style and one of the most broken attacks in the entire series. Outside of that, we had little exchanges or him just beating on people throughout the series, and of course his flashback alongside Oma, where he also got a beating from Advanced Up Enraged Oma. However, when it comes to main fights where we've seen his abilities being fleshed out, this is technically the 4th one in the entire series against the one and only Tiger Nico, which means Kira Setsuna really only fights top tiers within the series, meaning you really gotta respect him, especially now in his performance against this absolute monster, a top 5 strongest of all time in the series currently. Alongside that, an aspect of Kira that was touched upon a lot in Kengan Ashura is him pretty much being a prodigy, and one of the biggest prodigies in the entire series, considering how fast he was able to learn the Nico style, and now implementing some of Garuki's techniques in combination with his Koei style, such as the final attack in this chapter, Koei style x Gar style, Rakusashi's Soul, air rending, landing what it looks like a direct and powerful attack on the Tiger Nico here, most likely doing major damage, and of course very strong considering the dangers of the Rakusashi's Soul and the power of air rending that we've seen from Maruki throughout the series. All respect to Kira Setsuna here, man is continuing to evolve and revealing how much of a prodigy he truly is, regardless of his insanity. Apart from that, we have a few things to talk about in regards to the Tiger Nico that we learned this chapter, that being a new Nico style technique, involving the combination of the redirection and flame kata, known as Leech, where he's able to pretty much burn his opponent with the use of friction based attacks. Not really an all powerful thing, more of a harassment move, with it also giving me the vibe that Nico isn't really taking this fight 100% serious. In my previous video I talked about how Nico has been a little bit of a disappointment so far in this fight, but it's very clear with this chapter and all the other ones prior that he hasn't really been taking the fight serious whatsoever. His main pretty much issue in the previous chapters was of course his alcohol being destroyed, something that of course costed a lot of money, not really having his pretty much mind in the game, and now even in this chapter he's using more of a lesser technique, something he even confirms himself in this chapter by saying the following: "It's these petty moves that let the big moves shine," meaning he's not really going all out by any degrees, this really messy around with I guess a new technique that he's developed, and pretty much overwhelming Kiryu to a degree, or forcing him to of course adapt even more, using his Rakusashi's Soul to have the unpredictable movement, in combination with the Gar style now, as he's not trying to use the Nico style against of course the other Nico for obvious reasons. His mastery over the Nico style is far above Kiryu. Any technique Kiryu uses as part of the Nico style was taught to him by Nico himself, meaning he's going to know everything about it, how to counter it, meaning going with something similar but a little bit different in the Gar style is going to be much more of a better option, especially if he has learned a lot of it from Garuki, which is pretty cool, something we just got revealed in this chapter. This chapter also reminded us that the Koei style and Gar style are two of the martial arts in the entire series that are best to pretty much catch your opponent off guard to defeat their prediction that we have the Tiger Nico confirm in this panel here. He outmaneuvered my prediction, which does bring up the question whether these moves can be used to counter pre-initiative, and that's why back in Kengan Ashura, Kuroki didn't use pre-initiative in round 2 against Kiryu, revealing it for the first time in round 3, as Kiryu's Koei style counters prediction-based fighting styles, something interesting to think about, especially when you also consider that in the Garuki vs Naden fight, Naden was using a variation of Foresight, which if you don't know, pre-initiative is pretty much the pinnacle of Foresight in the Kengan universe. We've been told this many times. The variation of Foresight Naden was using wasn't pre-initiative, just some other development of Foresight, and when Garuki was pulling out, I guess, the main Gar style techniques, he was able to overwhelm him and land various attacks, pretty much overcoming Naden's predictions, which is once again highlighted here with Kiryu using the Gar style. But something for sure is that next chapter, I'm imagining the Tiger Nico is going to start using all of his insane techniques in combination and most likely going all out. So far, it's very clear that he's playing around, not taking his former student that serious. However, next chapter, he's probably going to try and end it as soon as possible, as the damage from this attack is probably impactful enough that he's going to need to pretty much start worrying about the dangers of Kiryu. I am interested in the reason this didn't actually defeat the Tiger Nico. For example, did he go limp? It seemed like it was a direct shot on the head of the Tiger Nico, meaning indestructible shouldn't really work in this case. We'll have to wait and see, but there's definitely going to be some other reason this didn't actually defeat the Tiger Nico that's going to be explored in the next chapter, followed by perhaps the Tiger Nico unleashing his advance and Kiryu unleashing Fallen Demon or something along the lines of that, or maybe the Tiger Nico has something else we've never seen before. I'm still hoping for more techniques, more I guess ultimate techniques of the Nico style we haven't seen before that the Tiger Nico has developed. That would be pretty cool. Maybe, of course, information about his flashback motives as I talked about in the previous video, which I believe is already providing us with some hints if you look at it very deeply. For example, it seems like the Tiger Nico as a character is someone who fights using techniques and values technique as absolute, not really going down the path of raw power, using a technique at really every chance he can. Throughout this chapter, we see him use various Nico style techniques that we've seen Oma and other Nico style users pretty much employ at various points throughout the series. The Tiger Nico is pretty much spamming a lot of them while messing around and showcasing this new one that we've never seen before, meaning it's very possible that someone like Shenmue Long got to his level due to his mastery of technique being so absolute, that being his principles, and that's what the Tiger Nico is perhaps trying to reach. And apart from that, we also have to see what's going on with Okoya, Gilbert and William Wu, praying for the death of Okoya, and it does seem like Kiryu may be facing his end in this battle as well, which would set up the fated match between Oma and the Tiger Nico in the future. But Kiryu is performing very well and is very underrated, definitely on the higher tiers of the Kengan Association now without a doubt. But that's everything for today's video. Become a Mad Lad by joining the members. Shout out to the Mad Lads of course. Subscribe. That's it guys. Peace.